Hello, back in business. Been puttering with a couple saws I'm trying to get done. Thought I'd take a few minutes and address this oil pump and Hogan saw. It's not working. Well, I can't say that. When there's no bar on it, it pumps like crazy. I think the clearance or something's wrong or the end seal's bad in the oil pump. So we're going to take that off and I'll visit with you while I'm doing it. The first thing I got to do is blow the darn thing out. Tell you what, I fought for a lot of years with a little bitty Buzz Bomb air compressor, and I got sick of that. And I'll tell you what I did about 5 years ago. I went and bought one of them great big frickin' dual stage dresser ran compressors. Oh man, I'll tell you what, it saves me money. The tank is so freaking big on it that there's sometimes blowing saws out days and days. I don't even turn it on, just use air pressure. But that's neither here nor there. So let's see what's going on with this oil pump. You guys ask a lot of really pretty cool questions. One feller asked, he says, hey, what's the mods on a 395 muffler? I don't know. I've never done actually a muffler on a 394 or 395. I have the 2100. What used to work. We're learning on this muffler thing. Don't think we got this down pat. We just don't. Yeah, I gotta get the other battery out. There we go. They like a new battery once in a while. Get these parts laid out. Well, the drive looks good on that end. The heck, huh? They got a metal washer and a plastic washer too. Sometimes you don't see that plastic one, and I have a hard time getting them sometimes. But that's the way it goes. And then there's a felt one. That little bearing off of there. It won't take long to get into this. See what we got going on. Well, it might take longer than I think. There we go. I know the oil pump's bad. I bought one last year on eBay. And I got the clutch, the oil pump, and the drive and everything. And I got that for $35. It's an OEM. Yeah, that is. I'll tell you what, you got to watch some of the stuff you buy. People lie. They tell you, oh, no, this is OEM. You get it, and it's freaking not. But that's the way of today's world. How have you been? Things are well, I hope, at home. I know none of you are bored yet. You guys got things to do. They was really thoughtful on these pumps. Putting them together because they give you a little slot right here to pry on each side. I'll show you a little bit here and there. Yeah, pretty amazing. That part's good. Well, the one thing I can tell you I don't like how much sawdust is in there behind that bearing. I always seal these up with silicone. That's what you end up with if you don't. All that crap in there. That's kind of a bad idea to blow it out. You'll get it right in that bearing. If I have to blow that out, which I probably will, I'll put a little bit of gun grease in there. My goodness sakes. I don't understand why our little screw, adjustment screw, is in the right position. I just, it's just going to get a new pump. I think I found it. It ain't like me to let you guys have silence, is it? So I like yakking. You like listening to all yak. Nice set of bearings in the saw. They're good bearings. But why that oil pump is giving me such fits. I know it's sealed up where it picks it up. The pump turns well. It just doesn't oil. It's exactly, everything's right. A lot of times with these stupid things, this, somebody's moved this screw right here, and that gear's slid the wrong way. This one's right. And that's turning just beautifully, see that? But you know what? When the darn things won't pump, that little seal there, that's got to be there, and that's a good one. It's been sealing, and I know for a fact it's been sealing here and here because it's, there's no oil all over the inside of this, which there would be. So we're going to go back and look at this. And I need to go get me a paper towel while you're late. That pulls right out. This is where it picks the oil up. Now what I'm going to do is put just a little air pressure against this little tube. That just drops in. It was sealed up. So if it's sealed up where it goes in, and it's sealed up where it goes out, you got to get real suspicious about this. Okay, there's a little hole in the case. I'm going to show you. So you got the idea what's going on. See, there's where it picks it up, right there. Then there's a little hole right there. That is what feeds that. It goes right through that. Okay? So what I'm going to do, put a little air pressure through that hole. Full squirt. Okay. So we verified that. We'll see this blow oil out of it. See that? That's not plugged. There's the air pressure. Yeah, it draws the lights right down, don't it? Thought you'd like to, on these 266s, 268s, 272, any of them series saws, I thought you'd like to see some of the little scoop on them. I'm going to drop that back in. And what we're going to do, I'll actually get some gun grease and I'm going to squirt some grease around that. And I'm going to dig out my new pump. Hopefully I can get that seal out of there without hurting it, because quite honestly, I really need that seal. And I'll dig around in the box. I got some seal somewhere. But I know I got an oil pump. Hell, I might already have a seal with it. Who knows? But we'll do that. Okay, I'm not going to make a long video today. But I'll tell you what. You remember when these kids, we'd do some pretty dumb things, wouldn't we? Now, after I got out of the military, yeah, I was a man. I got out toward the end of 86 there. I had bought quite a few muscle cars when I was in Georgia. I stayed stationed at Fort Stewart. I'm going to change chairs if I can see it better. So anyways, what I had done was I'd bought a GTO, a 66 GTO, and had this weird blue paint job. I think it was a Wagner Power Painter did it. Well, we'd sanded it down and we'd done everything. There was no body work to do literally on this car. It was a flawless car. So we painted it black. And on this particular car, black was the original color. And it had a white interior, which the interior was really pretty decent. Of course, they come with a 389 4-speed and 4-barrel. Well, I bought this car from this fella in Georgia. Actually, what I needed was a pickup to work with, and I traded a pretty nice Chevy pickup for that GTO. I wanted it pretty bad. And I probably should have kept the pickup, but I wanted that GTO. Because growing up with watching them run around, oh my goodness sakes, I just thought that was the nicest car you ever seen. Well, I had it tuned up, and we took that down to the drag strip, down to Savannah, Georgia. Went to that drag strip, and I got my heart broke. That stupid GTO would not break a 1580s. First time I run it, it was 1730. Yeah, it was 1730. Yeah, oh, it was horrible. Boy, it sure felt fast. So I couldn't have that. Well, I'll tell you what. Them Pontiac motors are a little tricky. They're different than a big block Chevy or anything else I ever worked on. At the time, I didn't know what I know now. But I blew quite a few of them up. I kept building them up. I'd take them down, blow it up. I got the car running 13s. Got it into the 12s. Yeah, we put the gear to it once, and I pulled it back out and round. I seemed to run the best with a 390 gear. It really did. And I finally got the thing into the 11s. And I knew I was getting out of the service, and I knew my brother was going to drive his car home. So I put I call them airplane gears back in it. And what I done, changed the whole rear end out. They had them bat wing covers on them old 10 bolts in them. That's what it had, 10 bolt. Maybe it was 12, I don't know. It's been a long time. So he drives the car home for me. And it was quite an adventure. He thought that was a lot of fun to drive, which it was. It was a lot of fun to drive. And now that was on Georgia Dags. Now back then, it wasn't until just recently they had the stars and bars on Georgia license plate. That didn't mean nothing to me. That's just another thing. So we get this car up here in New York, and I was on Georgia Tags, just fresh out of the military. Well, people came around. They wanted to see that car because by then they were gone around here. And this was a nice example of a 66 GTO. And I had the Pontiac rally rims on it with the booty rings. And I didn't do nothing stupid with this car. It had dual exhaust, but I had turbo mufflers. And it was fairly quiet. I mean, it had a nice throaty sound is what it did. But I had a limited slip rear in that. Boy, I'll tell you what, that sucker with them airplane gears, you rode that clutch out hard enough, that sucker would go to frying them tires. Now, what I had ended up with it with a motor, and it did hold together good, was I had a 428 with the old 421 Super Duty heads on it. Now, these heads were NASCAR prepped heads for 64 or 65 model year. I know they were run Daytona 500 by, I believe Ray Popple told me they was Buddy Baker's heads. Boy, I'm going to tell you what, they had valves in them bigger than, I mean, they just monster. What the work they'd done to that was unbelievable. So anyway, this old 428's got a heck of a set of early NASCAR heads. And I put a Urson, you remember them Urson cams? Yeah, I had an Urson H1 RH2, just hydraulic cam, nothing. It was a good heavy street cam, just a little low, nothing. Sounded about like you had your choke pulled out. I had that boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I like that. But I had the original Pontiac tri-power set up, the 3 deuces. And I'd built them carbs. I'll tell you what, I had a real showstopper right there with that motor. That one cooked. It really did. That was impressive. That made a fast GTO. It was the only way I could do it without dropping a big block Chevy in it, which that's been done, but I had that tri-power set up, and I wanted to run it, and I got it right. And to this day, I still set a lot of multiple carbs up for people around here that have classic cars. I work on some of the darndest things. I'll take you next time somebody has an old Chrysler 6-pack or a 440 2.4 barrel set up or something. You'll get to ride along and see what I work on, just for pleasure. And anyways, this old GTO, we pulled into the gas station. Now, it was on a corner. And now, that was back during my drinking days. I come out of the military drinking pretty freaking good. You might as well say drinking like a fish, if I know the truth. I had a little more time on my hands, too. I had a pocket full of money and a little time. I'm at a 66 GTO. So my brother's driving my GTO for me while we went uptown. Not sure why he's up there, but anyway, we seen the Canastewp cop, that lazy little sleepy town there, my hometown video. Yeah, you always had one cop on duty. Well, this guy's gone now. He passed away a number of years ago. Well, he seen that 66 GTO sitting there, and his eyes brightened right up. We seen him just looked in shock, because that car just sitting there looked like it was going 60 sitting still, because I had the right amount of rake. It had 60s on the rear, and it wasn't jacked up in the rear. It was just perfect. It had that stance that lets you know that's a real car. And he knew. Well, he goes up the road, and he parks way up the road on Main Street. Well, he figures we're going to pull right out and go by him, and he's going to pull us over and harass us, right? Because he had the Dukes of Hazzard syndrome, yeah. That's what his problem was. There hadn't been a muscle car in quite a long time for him to chase, and he got to missing it. Like an old coon dog sitting on the porch, wishing he could go coon hunting, but his hip hurts. Yep, that's what that cop felt like. So we got our gas, and I told my brother, I said, hey, don't pull out there. We still had to go to the parts store, which was Napa, and go over to the hardware and get some nuts and bolts and one thing and another. Well, the car's legal, it's insured, everything's right, but they're going to find something to mess with you in these little towns like this. So I had my brother back up and go down the alley right behind us. Now, where's the safest place to park that car? I'll tell you exactly where we did it. This story got around bad. Right beside the cop shop, right behind it, right behind the Popo station, right where the cop parks. We parked in his spot. So we're walking across to the hardware. Boy, that cop he's running up and down every street. He trying to find that 66 GTO. We're walking around town laughing. And we got our nuts and bolts, went over to, got a Universal. It was for my black 4-wheel drive. You see me play with in the mud there under horsepower videos. You'll see it. And this cop is frantic. He is going up and down every side street and looking around. He didn't go by the cop shop. Who in the world going to park right by the cop shop in the cop's parking place? We did. So I had my brother go down the side streets all the way to the end of town and turn out. I'll be a son of a gun down the red light, the only one we got in town. There that cop is. And he sees us pulling out. Now, my brother denied this, but I'm going to tell you. He always thought I was a wild one, but I never did the stuff he did. And never did. So it's a debate, and it's still going on to this day, he'll tell you. So he pulls out. Now, a friend of mine, we'll call him Mark, was at about 3-4 miles out of town, was a repair shop, and they run circle track cars there. Well, Mark drove this GTO, and he's telling his buddies in the shop, about 5-6 of them, hey, Harv's got a fast GTO. He says, yeah. Well, would it kick your uncles? Oh, yeah. He said, pretty fast, man. Yeah, so, okay. So at the same time he's telling him, my brother decides to frickin', for whatever reason, drop the hammer. Well, them lights flipped on that right by that red light. Now, he got probably 3/8 mile, half-mile head start on his cop. And so we just kind of rolled out. The cops catch him pretty quick. He drops that down one gear and lays on that car. Well, when them 3 deuces open, they just moan. But it's a high-pitched thing. But when it's coming at you, it sounds kind of like a jet spooling up, like a fighter spooling up in a long distance. So as my buddy Mark is telling everybody about it, we fly by that freaking repair shop. And I ain't going to say we was speeding. Yeah, it was triple digits, major. So we went flying down there. Well, what they had was an old frickin' one of them little Grand Furies or whatever, and it had a 360 in it, but they were slow cop. A Diplomat, it was a Diplomat, that's what it was. They were a slow cop car. Well, we looked back, we got down a long straight stretch, decided that there wasn't no cop behind us. He gave up. He didn't have a prayer. I know you can't outrun a radio, but they were few and far between. Still are all here, believe me. So we went into the park at South Canisteo there. Big bunches of trees out there. What it is, it's a long, big, swooping part of where the old road was. There's a spring there people get water, spring water from. So I had to take a leak. So I get out, and I'm taking me a leak. And all of a sudden, we hear sirens. I got done taking a leak pretty quick, got in the car. My brother's driving. I said, oh, you sit still. That cop went by. Now, this was a minute or so. So I had enough time to do my business, get back in the car. Brother, sit right still. That cop went flying by like a streak. Didn't even look in the park. And what's we was in the shadows in the tree right next to the hill. I was doubtful he'd ever seen us anyway. So I got this bright idea. No, you're going to get serious. I said, great, let's just turn around. Let's go back toward Canisteo. I believe that. He'll correct me if I got that wrong. So anyway, what we did, went back toward town. We took it up over the hill. Took all the dirt roads, come back down where that we come down that road there where you seen the old skid trails they used to run. We come down that road. And I parked this car out in the side yard. For weeks, every sheriff that went by, every state trooper, they'd stop. They's taking pictures of that GTO. They knew. Oh, yeah. You ain't got running, by God, you can do that one. Well, anyways, I decided I was going to put that car away. I wasn't driving that until it was painted. And I was even debating about that. Well, I kept that car for years. Finally, somebody came along and had something to pique my interest, and I horse traded for a 1940 Plymouth Business Coupe. Yep. Hemi car. Not them old ones either. It had 426. None of it was assembled. That'll be another story. Hope you like this one. Stay safe, brothers, sisters, and friends. Y'all my family. And thank you so much for being here and taking our little journeys we take. I got to dig my oil pump up, put this in. You know what I'm going to do after that? I'm going to give about 60 kicks to this Mako behind me because they're a terrible thing to start. And then we'll go in the house, have a cup of coffee, and then we'll go on about our business. Okay, that's it. Goodbye.